Hi everybody, quick update. Just on what I've been doing. I think it must be 2 or 3 weeks since I last posted anything. Not got a massive amount done as usual, but I've sort of been assembling stuff again and undercoating things mostly. But anyway, one thing I did get finished were these new line design Celtic cavalry, which obviously I'm using as Ancient Britons. Came out nice. The shields, I just painted designs on them. I mean, they're new line design shields. I don't know if there's any sort of transfers to fit them, but not really necessary, I don't think, for all of them. I mean, I've got Celtic shields for various other figures that I could have used and put transfers on, but these simple designs work quite well anyway on the shields, so quite happy with how they came out. But yeah, I've done sort of different horses pretty much. That's a dun coloured horse. Looks a bit greenish here, but it's not. It's more brown. Don't know, I'm getting a green tint from somewhere. But yeah, that's I painted that as a dun. The rest are sort of bays, chestnut bays. These are, apart from this leader one, which is a skewbald. I always paint any ancients, well, the rare amount of ancients I do, any sort of leader figures, I always put them on a piebald or a skewbald. Piebald's black and white, skewbald's brown and white. I always think it just sort of makes them stand out a bit more. Did that for my Irish warlord, for me Dark Age Irish. Yeah, I like the look of those sort of horses for leaders. I think they look good. Especially for that kind of period, ancient Dark Ages, I think they look good, rather than going for whites and dapples and stuff. But yeah, I like these, turn out quite nice. Didn't go really to have a go at tartan because I don't think I've got the brushes for it at the moment. I need something really fine for that, so I just stuck to a couple of, a few sort of played designs, just straight crosshatch type things. Yeah, I didn't fancy attempting tartan with the brush I've got. I need to get a very fine one for that, but I think they look alright. I mean, I don't want to look too fussy. Some of them I just put a bit of a check pattern on the seats, on the saddle covers. He's a good figure, I like that one. Yeah, he got some red and white trousers. But yeah, nice figures. So I like new line design, do some good stuff, and say compatible size wise with Warlord. So especially Warlord metals, because I know their plastic Romans are a bit badly proportioned, but the sort of later Warlord metal Dark Age stuff a lot better, and it's as I showed in a previous video, size wise they're pretty much exactly the same new line design in them. I mean, I think the last one video I put a comparison showing the two auxiliary troopers, one Warlord, one new line design. You couldn't tell the difference as far as scale and that went, so they're a good match, and the horses seem to match pretty well too. So yeah, that's the new line design cavalry done. Other than that, I've been dabbling in Napoleonics still, which I'll probably continue to do. I mean, I'd say I'm dabbling as well, I'm not actually concentrating on anything. Finish these Russians. I haven't based them all. Quite happy with how they've come out. been learning a few things on the way, uniform wise. I mean, this guy here, that's not going to be correct. The top of this, that a cockade, I think they're called. Yeah, they're all pretty much just black. It's only like a NCO that's got any kind of marking on the top of these, and that would be wrong anyway. It's like the NCO's marking's like white, where that is yellow. It would be white with like a stripe of sort of orange, and that would denote a NCO. But yeah, quite happy with these now. Discovering just how sort of fiddly and detailed Napoleonics can be. I'm really finding with Napoleonics, like, they're not complete until they're complete. See what I mean? I mean, most figures, when you're part way through, you can sort of get a good sense of how they look. But Napoleonics, they just don't look sort of done, anywhere near done, until you've done the last sort of button or strap or whatever it is. They just seem unique in that sense. You just can't. They just don't look good until they're finished, completely finished. That's what I'm finding with Napoleonics. Whereas sort of anything else, you can sort of think, oh yeah, it's looking all right. But Napoleonics, I'm just finding that almost despaired at first, because I thought, God, these look awful. But I've learnt now that you just got to persist, finish them, and then you hopefully turn out all right. These 2, 4, 6, 8 are Warlord plastics. Tilt them up slightly so we can just, yeah. And these last two are Perry plastics. Now they're pretty much, tilt that a bit. They're pretty much a good match size wise. These crests, pompons, cockades, whatever they are, keep forgetting. I think pompon is actually the badge on the front there, and that's a cockade. But you can see the Warlord and Perry ones are different. Perry ones are fatter and slightly shorter. The Warlord ones are slightly longer and narrower. And then these are both from the same sort of period, because I think when you get to the 1812, 1815 area, these cockades are very sort of long and narrow, but obviously they've just been sculpted differently. I'll just bring him to the front with a normal trooper. The difference in Perry and Warlord mainly with these seems to be the, let me see, they look pretty good comparison to me, like, oh, well done. Yeah, they seem fairly good size wise match. The difference is the heads, pretty much. The Charcots on the, or Kivas on the Warlord ones, a lot bigger than the Perry ones. And I say I'm using both headgear from the same period as well, because the later ones are more pointed. But yeah, the Warlord ones seem a lot bigger. Well, a lot chunkier, the headgear, and the sort of helmet, these ropes and cords, a lot thicker, so it sort of makes them look a bit taller, whereas I think effectively they're pretty much the same, and I think they look like a good match. It's slightly chunkier Warlord, I mean hands are a bit bigger than that, but that is the difference between Warlord and Perry generally. Perry's a bit more slender and slightly more realistic, whereas the Warlords are usually a bit chunkier. But yeah, I've enjoyed doing these, just as well because I've got lots of them to do. I mean, God, I bought in the sale of Warlords, I bought 70 frames of the Russians, so that's what 280 figures. And then I bought 4 boxes of Perry Russians, and you get 40 to a box of those, so that's another 160. What's that? 283, 380, 440. So 440 infantry. I'm not going to run out of them, am I? So yeah, quite happy with those. Colour wise, these ones I originally did the 2 Perry ones. I painted. I used Vallejo paints. I think I used black green as the base, and then I think I used Russian green and probably Russian uniform to highlight it. Can't actually, you can see a bit of a difference in the tones, I think, to the Warlord ones. Not massive difference, I suppose. A bit, yeah, look a bit different. I think the 2 Perry ones I did look a bit more like World War II Russian colours that I was using, because that's, well, that's what I used. But I actually ended up buying some foundry paints, the Triads system, because Cal from Brush and Quill, he mentioned that he used the foundry Triads for his Russians, so I thought I'd try them out. So I ordered their Russian Triad, which is you get like shade, mid-tone and highlight, which I'm not sure about suits my style of painting, but seem to work out alright on these, because I normally like to use washes, whereas with these Triads you basically put the shade down, then you put the intermediate tone down, and then the highlights, so you're not using shades to, well, you're not using washes to shade your miniatures, which is not generally the way I paint, but it seemed to work out alright in these. Yeah, I ordered quite a few of their sets of paints because I've never tried foundry ones, so I thought I'd get a few. I got a few of the horse colours like chestnut, palomino, all that kind of thing. Ordered some of the gun colours, Russian green colours, gun colours, and the barrel sort of triad that they do. Mistakenly, I thought I'd ordered the Austrian triad, Austrian white triad, and it turned out I'd only ordered the base colour. But it turns out that Foundry were out of stock of a couple of colours I ordered from the Palomino triad. So they said they'd send them on, so that I said I ordered the 2 Austrian whites that I neglected to order, and getting them to send them along with the Palominos, but not had those yet, because I am actually dabbling in some Austrians as well. I think that's pretty much how it's going to go for me at the moment with Napoleonics. I'm just going to flit around from things like the sound of, or like the look of. These are Austrian, Perry Austrians. Really, I'm really impressed with this plastic set, actually. I've got nowhere at the moment, they're just undercoated. Started doing the skins. But really impressive box set that is. You get the helmeted heads, you get the heads in Charcots, and then you get like landwear heads where they got like the they're wearing like brimmed caps turned up one side with feathers. So you can make variety of troops, and they got a really good leaflet with it as well. I mean, Perry's normally do have good leaflets with their figures, but you can make no end of different troops and regiments and units up out of this one box set. So, and they're really good figures. I really like them. So I should be buying a lot when I can afford it. I'll be buying a lot of these Austrian box sets. So yeah, they're something I'm just sort of tinkering with at the moment, but I can't do any more because I don't have the paint. Another thing I'm tinkering with, just starting, with some a couple of French dragoons. I discovered that, I mean, I keep saying I've never painted Napoleonics before, but I have. I painted 2 cavalry units years ago. I did some heavy cavalry, cuirassiers, just 1 box, Perry box, and I did a box of dragoons. But I only did the actual mounted figures, which I sold on eBay for a pittance in the end. Which it was like a bit of an experiment. I thought, I'll see if it's worth having a go at painting to sell. And obviously I'd put them up for auction rather than a fixed price, and someone got a bargain. You know, they got them for about 25 quid. And I thought, well, the amount of hours I put in, that was completely not worth it. So that taught me a lesson not to do that again. But anyway, yeah, I'd painted did the mounted figures, but I hadn't done you get some, I think you get about 8 dismounted figures to go with them, which is good. So I thought, well, I was just looking around I was looking through my Napoleonics, see what stuff I'd got, and pick these out. And thought, well, I think I'll put these together. I've only put 2 together, so I'm going to paint those. But I'm going to probably order the foundry paints to do those as well at some point. So that's those. Next, a command base there for my Russians. That's a Metal Warlord command pack, and that's the 1809 to, was it 1809 I think, or 1806, 1809 to 1815, so it can be used for any of that period. And then they do another command set that is 1812 to 1815. I think the difference there will be the Sharkos, the Kivas, with a sort of more pointed, but I don't care, I'm going to mix and match them anyway. Yeah, so they look quite nice. Absolutely no idea what regiment this is going to be. Really need to get looking at some info on Russian army of the time. I think I'm going to end up just ordering some flags at random and just using those just to get the command stand done. But yeah, not that clued up on it at the moment. I'm just sort of not finding time to read. I'm sort of either obviously at work, and when I get home I just want to get painting and stuff. So I'm not actually figuring out what I'm doing for the Russians, really. Just sort of going along, plodding along and painting things. I've not even got a game system in mind yet anyway, really, so I'm just painting the figures at the minute, just for the enjoyment of it. So that's those. That's what I'm sort of plodding on with at the moment. Now, the most important, 2 more things, yeah. I mean, Russian Naval Brigade, I haven't done any more to them because I've decided that I've used this Games Workshop Deadly Nightshade, which is a very dark blue, thinking it would give the effect I wanted, but it's not. Russian Naval Brigade were nicknamed the Black Death, not the very dark blue death. So it's not black enough, even with a black wash. So I'm thinking of doing what I do. I rarely use straight black now when I paint anything. Use it as an undercoat for armour, but I don't generally use black. I'll just show you one of these up close actually. I mean, that hat there, the overall effect is that it's black, but I use either German grey, Vallejo German grey, or Vallejo black grey, and then I've highlighted that with I think I used German field grey, and then I think I used a bit of Vallejo basalt grey, and then went over it with black wash. So you get the sort of highlights in that, but it still looks black. without, because often when you try and highlight black it ends up looking too grey, but I think the method I'm using here works quite well. So yeah, I don't actually normally use solid straight black, so for these I'm thinking of using the German grey and the black grey. Don't focus what you're doing. Yeah, using the German grey or the black grey. Doing what I did with those hats, but then after I've done the black wash I might do like a blue glaze over it, so you get the sort of blacky blue look about it, but it's still more black, because it does seem to be like their uniform's very black but with a tinge of blue in it, so I'm going to try that. So yeah, that's my next, one of the next things I'm going to have to try and get down, sorted out. Right, most important thing of this video actually is a big thank you to Eric, gaming with Sarge, lovely bloke, been watching the videos, commenting on his videos, he comments on mine a lot. We've been emailing each other a bit because he was doing this American War, because he's big on the American War of Independence, which is something I'm really interested in, and he did a paper for it, and he said if anybody wanted to have a look at it, just email him. So did that, and then he obviously get sort of chatting generally. He did a video the other, I think he did a video, was it a video he mentioned? Yeah, I think he did a video and he got some Brigade miniatures in there, and I love Brigade miniatures. American company. Unfortunately, they don't seem to have a distributor in Britain. North Star used to have them listed on their site, but disappeared now, which I find very odd, because if you ever go and look on Brigade's site, they seem to sell all the, you know, when like North Star do like these Nick starters, where they're doing things like for Frostgrave, Brigade seem to supply all those Nick starters to the American market. So you'd think the two would be affiliated some way, but, and they sell, you know, lots of North Star stuff, but North Star don't sell Brigade miniatures for some reason. I don't understand it. I'm going to have to try and email them and find out why that is, because they do seem to be almost affiliated with each other, but yeah, it just seems to be one way. But anyway, I bought some Brigade miniatures a couple of years ago, some gangsters. They do a fantastic gangster range, and things like state police and all that kind of stuff, state troopers. I bought a load of those, and which I'm quite happy with, but bought them direct from Brigade. But then I don't know what happened. Suddenly things got really expensive to order from America, like shipping charges went through the roof, generally, not just Brigade, anywhere. And also, if you're not ordering books and stuff, anything else, you're gonna, it's like a roulette wheel, whether you get snagged at customs to pay an extra charge on top of stuff. So I didn't order anything from Brigade for ages, and then yeah, Sarge did this video with some of his stuff, and I mentioned on there how much I like Brigade miniatures, and he knows I'm interested in Napoleonics, and I mean, I know I've started painting Russians, but initially I wanted to do Peninsula. That's what I was going for at the time, and well, he talked about Brigade miniatures, and he's had these Spanish guerrillas, because what I'm thinking of doing is either sharp practice or chosen men, just doing a skirmish thing, and I quite fancied doing Spanish guerrillas with sort of British allies and that sort of stuff, and obviously against the French. Eric said he'd got these Brigade Spanish guerrillas that he didn't have use for, because he's not doing skirmish with Napoleonics, he wants to do big battles. And he said, did I want them? And I thought, well, I was a bit reticent, because it's going to cost them a bit to post them, and it did, because I saw bloody cost on the box. You know, it was a bit of an expense to ship them over, but he did anyway. And yeah, they're fantastic. You know, already painted up and based, and they're actually based. I mean, I would do mine on 20 mils, but it don't really matter. But the base material, and that is what I was going to do, because it's going to be like mountainous, arid sort of region. So I was going to go for this kind of look on the bases anyway. But yeah, lovely. Brigade, really nice. Pretty good match with Perry and Warlord as well. So as you can see there, they're quite a good match. I need to tilt this up so you can see a bit better. But yeah, obviously I say Warlord because they've got big hats on, but yeah, they fit well with Perry and Warlord. And Victrix, I would imagine. I'll just grab me Victrix bloke somewhere. There he is. I'm seeing unpainted still. So I'm waiting for that triad. But yeah, so obviously Perry, Warlord, Victrix, Brigade all mixed quite well together. So yeah, Eric sent me these, like 10 Spanish guerrillas. Very nicely painted. He did say, would they be painted? Hope they're painted well enough. Well, yeah, they are. Better than I would do, to be honest. Very nice. Really good figures as well. Like I say, Brigade, I think they're fantastic figures. Just a shame that they don't have a distributor here. Because I think a lot of Wargamers missing out on good stuff there. Having said that, I've now gone and, after seeing these, thought, no, I've got to get some. So I went to Brigade site. I mean, their shipping charges are actually really good. If you spend $125, you get international shipping $15. So we're talking about 12 quid. So the shipping itself is not a problem. It's just when it gets to this country, does it get nabbed by customs and then you get another charge on it? I mean, you might get away with it, you might not. But I've placed an order for some stuff because they just do such good stuff. So I've gone and ordered some of their Spanish range and bits and bobs, really. I've ordered things like Spanish guerrilla cavalry, French, some French troops, some yeah, Spanish guerrillas, that kind of thing. Cazadors, French sort of skirmish troops. Ordered, you know, varied things. And I'm already looking at ordering more because they do some nice British rifles and sharp based characters as well. But yeah, anyway, he set me off there on something else. So hopefully I'll get into this Peninsula thing. I'm waiting for them to arrive, and that's probably something I will try and concentrate on, because you know, we can get a small selection of figures together and you can get on with the game then. I've got a mate who's quite keen to play that sort of thing. But anyway, yes, that's a massive thank you to Sarge. And not only did he send me these, he sent me a rather personal, well, I thought personal gift. He's a military bloke, and he was in the 504th Parachute Infantry Regiment. Sent me one of his old army badges. What's that? Very nice. I thought that was a nice personal gift from him. Really good of him. So, yeah, strike home. I'm thinking now, I mean, I don't know if historically accurate or not, but rather than painting all the like Screaming Eagles badges on my 28mm airborne figures I've got, I might have a go at painting that on it. Have a go at that, I think. Whether they're actually in World, I don't know enough about them to know if they were in World War II, but I'm going to see if I can get some sort of approximation of that on my figures. Anyway, so yeah, big thank you to Sarge, lovely fella. It's really nice of him to, you know, send me stuff like that. So yeah, don't know what to say really, apart from thanks. Not used to getting stuff really from people. Get the odd bit now and again. Mary Hingy sent me some boas, but yeah, don't often get stuff sent by people you've never met, do you? Very nice of him. So anyway, rambled on a bit. Yeah, I'm going to plod on with Napoleonics, bits and bobs of Napoleonics. When the Brigade order comes through, I might try and concentrate more on doing some Spanish, because I'm getting some sort of Spanish regulars as well, so I'm going to have a go at that. Yeah, anyway, thanks again to Eric, and thanks to everybody watching, subscribing, commenting, and take care everyone. See you later.